This is the AEW Dynamite October 29, 2025 full show results video, which takes place at the Bert Ogden Arena in Edinburg, Texas. The show started with a tornado match between Darby Allin and Orange Cassidy versus Death Riders. This wild match kicked off with Darby Allin attacking Daniel Garcia while Orange Cassidy tangled with Wheeler Yuta. Things got chaotic fast. Yuta stomped Allin, but Darby and Orange fired back, taking the fight to the floor. Allin nailed Yuta with a chair, then dove through the ropes to crash into him again. Garcia and Yuta teamed up on Cassidy in the crowd until Allin wiped them both out with a huge coffin drop from the upper level. Back in the ring, Yuta and Garcia double-teamed Allin before Cassidy returned, hitting slick DDTs and dropkicks with his hands in his pockets. After a brutal table spot, Allin nearly pinned Garcia after a code red. The chaos hit another level with DDTs, a coffin drop, and an orange punch flying everywhere. In the end, Allin locked in the Scorpion Deathlock on Yuta, forcing him to tap out for the win. Backstage, Hook arrives at the venue discussing his upcoming match, stating that a win earns him a world title shot and vowing to stop Samoa Joe from advancing. Backstage, Renee Paquette interviews Don Callis about the Don Callis Family Summit when the Young Bucks arrive. Callis criticizes AEW for mistreating them, urging the Bucks to consider his help. He cues their entrance, introducing them from backstage as Pyro unexpectedly erupts, startling Matt and Nick before their match. Then we saw a match between FTR vs JetSpeed vs Jurassic Express vs Young Bucks for the AEW Men's World Tag Team Championship No. 1 Contendership. The match began with Dax Harwood tagging himself in against Mike Bailey, trading chops and strikes before Bailey took control with quick kicks. Perry entered but was taken down by Bailey's agility. JetSpeed double-teamed Luchasaurus before chaos erupted as FTR and the Young Bucks cleared the ring. Perry tried to dive over the ropes but was caught by FTR and driven face-first into the announce desk. High-flying action followed. Bailey and Knight soared through the air, taking out everyone on the outside. Back in the ring, Perry nailed Nick Jackson with a destroyer, but Luchasaurus' pin only got 2. Knight countered with a DDT on Luchasaurus before more wild exchanges saw Bailey kick down the Bucks. After a near fall following the BTE trigger, Luchasaurus hit a moonsault to the outside. Knight hit a massive UFO splash on Matt, but FTR hit the Shatter Machine on Knight to win. Back from commercial, the ring is set for the Don Callis Family Summit, complete with tables and a covered easel. Don Callis welcomes everyone, addressing rumors of tension between Okada and Konosuke Takeshita. He introduces the segments for key questions. Rocky Romero asks who the Don Callis family is, unveiling a humorous painting of the group posing shirtless, earning a Don of Finland's joke from commentary. Josh Alexander asks what the family stands for, leading to a hype video. Kyle Fletcher asks why they do what they do, reciting their oath of loyalty and secrecy. Takeshita then enters, confronting Okada as tensions flare. Callis mediates, saying this is a family of alphas built on the ashes of Kenny Omega's career. He insists the family succeeds by listening to him and demands that Takeshita shake Okada's hand. Amid no chance, Takeshita reluctantly agrees, but Okada flips him off instead. Chaos nearly erupts before Callis restores order, announcing a tag team match on Collision to prove they can work together as a true family. Backstage, Renee Paquette interviews Chris Statlander, who addresses Mercedes, saying she knows Mercedes is embarrassed and hurting. Statlander announces she'll be at Collision for her match against Olympia and invites Mercedes to confront her tonight while she holds the AEW Women's World Championship, the title Mercedes doesn't have. The next match happened between Jon Moxley versus Kyle O'Reilly. The match between Jon Moxley and Kyle O'Reilly began with hard strikes and technical counters. O'Reilly targeted Moxley's leg with sharp kicks, while Mox fired back with heavy shots and a back body drop to the floor. After the break, Moxley punished O'Reilly with a full Nelson into the steel steps, but Kyle fought back with a dragon screw and a near fall after a piledriver. Mox transitioned through multiple submissions, including a Fujiwara armbar and Rings of Saturn, before eye gouging and stomping O'Reilly. Both men traded brutal knees, with O'Reilly locking in a triangle choke and ankle lock. Outside, Kyle hit a plancha into an armbar and a dragon screw on the barricade. Marina Schaffer interfered briefly, and as both men brawled outside, the referee counted them out, ending in a double count-out draw. After the match, chaos erupts as Marina Schaffer punches referee Aubrey Edwards and Claudio Castagnoli drops Kyle O'Reilly with a vicious uppercut. Claudio and his allies attack until Roderick Strong rushes in, hitting an Olympic slam on Claudio. However, Wheeler Yuta and Daniel Garcia arrive, giving the heels the advantage. Moments later, Darby Allin, Mark Briscoe, and Orange Cassidy storm the ring to even the odds and clear out the Death Riders. On the mic, Allin and Briscoe call them fake tough guys who always run. Briscoe teases a big announcement, reluctantly passed to Cassidy, who coolly declares 2 words, blood and guts. Backstage, Chris Statlander and Mercedes brawl fiercely as Mercedes slams Statlander into a road case and onto the ramp. Statlander recovers, hitting an F5 on Mercedes on the ring apron, but Athena ambushes her, allowing Mercedes to land a backstabber. Athena follows with an O-face, and Mercedes locks in the statement maker. Suddenly, Willow Nightingale and Harley Cameron rush to the ring to rescue Statlander. Then we saw an AEW Women's World Tag Team Championship Tournament first round match between Jamie Hayter and Queen Aminata versus Sisters of Sin. The match began with Julia Hart attacking Aminata, but Jamie Hayter quickly struck Hart with a forearm and boot. Aminata nearly pinned Hart before tagging in Sky Blue, who was dominated by Aminata and Hayter with repeated suplexes. Hart made a blind tag, teaming with Blue for a double flapjack on Hayter, though Hayter kicked out and fought back with a double suplex on both opponents. Aminata re-entered, unleashing clotheslines and stiff kicks on Blue. The Sisters of Sin, Hart and Blue, countered with double super kicks but were knocked down by Hayter and Aminata's clotheslines. After a fierce exchange, Thekla emerged from under the ring, spearing Hayter outside. Taking advantage, Hart and Blue hit an assisted swinging flatliner on Aminata to secure the win. Backstage, Tony Schiavone, dressed as the Phantom of the Opera, interviews Megan Bayne and Penelope Ford. Ford, nursing a torn elbow, vows to make every woman in the tournament feel her pain. Bayne invites potential partners, and Marina Schaffer steps up, accepting the offer. Jon Moxley briefly appears, warning everyone to look out before the segment ends. In the main event of the show, we saw a match between Bobby Lashley vs. Hook vs. Ricochet vs. Samoa Joe for the AEW Men's World Championship No. 1 Contendership. The match erupted in chaos from the start as Bobby Lashley slammed Samoa Joe into the steps and Ricochet drop-kicked him off the apron. Hook and Lashley traded suplexes and strikes before Lashley chokeslammed him onto the apron. After the break, Joe dominated until Ricochet broke up a near fall. Lashley hit a spinebuster and a dominator, but Hook interrupted. Chaos ensued with Joe, Hook, Ricochet, and Lashley all landing big moves, including a Tazplex, Sasuke Special, and 450 Splash. In a wild finish, Ricochet and Lashley brawled outside while Joe trapped Hook in the Coquina Clutch, forcing him to submit. Samoa Joe emerged victorious, becoming the No. 1 contender for the AEW Men's World Championship. After Samoa Joe's victory, Powerhouse Hobbs and Katsuyori Shibata join him in the ring to celebrate. Tony Schiavone arrives with the Full Gear AEW World Championship contract for Joe to sign. Suddenly, several people in costumes enter the ring. Joe orders Hobbs and Shibata to secure the area as they attack the costumed figures, unmasking a Stay Puft Marshmallow Man, expecting Hangman Adam Page, but it's not him. Joe signs the contract and boasts about being the next champion. During a celebratory toast, the Schiavone in the ring is revealed to actually be Adam Page, who viciously attacks Joe until security rushes in to break up the brawl as the show ends. How would you rate this week's AEW Dynamite show? Tell me in the comments, and thanks for watching the video.